Greetings, fellow investigators, and welcome back to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I play the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. I'm your host, Tom Rayleigh. Our scenario is entitled Homecoming. It was written by Thomas McKeon, who is also our game master. This is episode 2, and Ken Trench will be giving the recap. So, without further delay, let's begin our journey into the darkness. Ken?
The Diary of William Olmsted Green. April the 3rd, 1931. A snow-covered Massachusetts on a dark, misty night. We're travelling by car on a barely passable road in rural Maine. Tommy Anderson and I have become fast friends this last year at Miskatonic University. Tommy is a year ahead of me studying law. I'm a student at liberal arts studying my muse, literature and the poets. My adopted parents have given me opportunities I would never have had. I think Tommy took pity on me, showing me around the Miskatonic U and thrilling me with stories and of hinting at strange investigations he'd been involved in the past, but he doesn't talk about them much. I love mysteries. The vehicle creaks and screeches to a halt. The landlord who drove us here is well wrapped in his jacket, scarf and heavy boots, cracks the front door open with a crowbar for us as a locksmith couldn't get through the weather. The cold wind bites us, our shoes crunching on the snow beneath our feet, and as we approach the house, "This is it," the man says gruffly, setting the oil lamp down on a table for us. Inside, mysterious and esoteric books lie around on the table and on the bookcases, whispering secrets to us. Cycles of the moon and magnetism of the mind and many others. Maps and charts cover the walls. The old Stirling place now belonged to my friend Tommy Anderson. I jump as the phone rings and I answer a long-distance call. Breathing, papers rustling. Hello, is that Tommy? Who's calling? I answer. My name is Arthur. The man's voice is anxious. He doesn't know if he can trust me, desperate to speak to Tommy. Something doesn't seem right. I hand the receiver over. He has a case for Tommy. New York City, tomorrow, 43rd Street, Manhattan. Friends from the Dexter Fowler show will be there. Oh boy, a real mystery. The landlord drives us back to our residence. About 2 miles down the road, we notice a car parked at the side of the road. Strange, the man standing out in the evil weather, observing us. Something feels wrong. A shiver goes down my spine. Perhaps it's just the cold air. My imagination is stirred, and I take my notebook. The stranger stood at the side of the road in the blizzard, scarf covering his face like a watcher in the wilderness. A new novel, perhaps? A weird tale, The Stranger in the Blizzard. We arrived the next day at Penn Station, New York. This is an opportunity to meet some of Tommy's friends from the past, the people he worked with solving strange cases. Who knows, I might even meet that famous detective, Dexter Fowler. As we step off the train, we meet Clifton Hawke, a real private detective, and another gentleman, Felix Epstein, a stage magician known as the Great Bamboni. This is the bee's knees. I hope he shows us some magic tricks. As we talk, Hawke begins to suspect this could be some kind of a prank. This better not be Dexter Fowler's doing, he says angrily. Just then we see Dexter Fowler walking in our direction, Hawke swearing as Mr. Fowler approaches. "Did you set this up, Fowler? Some crackpot has been listening to your crackpot radio show and got us all here. Let's get to the hotel and see what's going on." Fowler drives us in his car from Penn Station towards the hotel in 43rd Street, but we hear chanting, angry shouting on the way. It's some kind of workers' protest marching down the street right in our path. The tension outside is mirrored by the tension in our vehicle. Hawke is angry at Fowler for painting him like some kind of drunkard in his radio show. We approach 43rd Street at Times Square. The protest is getting worse. There are cops everywhere with guns and billy clubs. I've never seen so many cops in one place. The anger is palpable. I'm stirred to write, as I often do. Resentment was rising. Violence was about to boil over on the streets of New York like a witch's brew. We leave the car behind and enter the Bellevue Hotel, a 15-story Art Deco masterpiece. I have never seen anything like this in my life. Inside we enter another world with black marble floor, red Turkish rugs. Columns rise from the floor to a dome ceiling. A piano is being played as if there is no chaos outside. It's 8:30 p.m. and we are to meet our mysterious host at 8:45. Hawk notices a heavy-set man in a mustard suit sitting in the shadow of the pillars reading a newspaper, but to Hawk's trained eye, he looks out of place. Hawk goes to the reception and is given a key, room 1521, 15th floor, a penthouse suite overlooking Times Square. This Arthur, over the long-distance caller, must be rich. The lift opens at the top floor and we approach room 1521. There are Egyptian decoration statues holding up the lights in the hallway. I wish my parents could see me now. Hawk knocks on the door. It swings open. The apartment lights are out and don't go on. A flickering light in another room somewhere inside. Fowler goes first into the penthouse. We follow behind the detectives. Hawk reaches for the light bulb. His hand comes out dripping with blood, but not his own. Fowler finds chipped ice all over the kitchen floor. No, broken glass and ice. No one is answering our calls. I tentatively go inside the living room. A tipped-over bottle of brandy, a red striped tie, papers littered everywhere, handwritten notes, a newspaper clipping reading massacre. Something terrible has happened in here. I find a legal pad with dozens of names scored out, won't respond and doesn't know written at the side. And then I see names from our party in the room and notes saying they know. Felix finds nightmarish crude drawings crumpled in the trash can, a black form of a woman with red eyes, again and again, every paper with the same creepy figure. Tommy has entered the chaos that is the bedroom, shredded towels and linens under the bed. He finds a photograph of two young boys and a woman. On the back, Timothy, Arthur, and Mother, 1889. Hawk heads into the bathroom and finds the body of a man, jaw slumped open, and a disgusting, mushy pulp where his eyes, nose, and ears should be. Blood is everywhere, written on the mirror in blood. It's her. As we approach, Felix is physically sick. I feel faint. I've never seen anything like this before. I follow Felix back into the living room to get away from that horror. Hawk realizes the man has gorged his own eyes out with an ice pick and then written the ghastly message. But how? He finds ID, it's Arthur, all right, and on the back of a contact address in Queens, not far away from here, for Timothy Tucker. Also a matchbook for Ido's Jazz Club. There's a creak at the door and the man with the mustard suit is standing, brandishing a pistol. Put your hands up, I scream. And Hawk appears from the bedroom with his pistol drawn. I'm law enforcement. Who are you? Hawk says. The man is a detective. The two men put their guns away. Marcus Finlay, the detective, says, where is Arthur? Hawk shows him the body and explains our promise of employment. Finlay, you want to get paid? Don't involve the cops here. Here's an address, a motel in Staten Island. Tell them Marcus is going to put us up. I'll call you tomorrow and talk to my client. Hawk says we specialize in unusual cases. Finlay, if you're interested in the strange and weird, I have the perfect case for you. Finlay, obviously bothered by Arthur's demise, says, I got to make some phone calls. Welcome to New York.
Very detailed, very informative.
Thanks, Kevin.
It was great. It was
Really
wonderful. I loved it. All right. So a question for the players. Would you like me to do Henry's opening now or a little bit later?
Well, you can do it now.
Okay. We will
Thomas, your mic's really quiet again for some reason.
Well, that could be because it's all the way over here. How about
Did
now?
you make sure that the auto thing isn't
Oh, I
like
did not.
last time?
But I could definitely.
It usually stays in the correct state, but
Let's find out, everybody. Let's go to my audio settings. Ba-da-da-ba.
I was gonna say you guys can start off. I gotta charge my my mouse real quick, so you guys start off, and I'll listen in and see where you guys are. And...
All right.
Okay.
Okay. Can I come in from the balcony at this point? Because if I stand out on the balcony smoking any longer, I'm going to get emphysema. And I'm going to have to make some sort of constitution roll.
Totally understandable. All right. How's that sound, Jeff? Am I sounding better as I turn it up?
Well, now you're really
whatever you just did
It's
worked.
too high.
That's good. How about now? Am I sounding good?
That's
There we
good.
go. I want to make sure everyone hears my sweet, tender voice.
It's a little loud.
It's
I
clear.
feel
Well, no, wait, you know
a
what?
lot.
It's that it's too close to your face now. Because you're getting that
How about now?
better. Move it a
How
little.
about now?
That's perfect.
Perfect. Okay, there we go. That took a while, but we're here now. All right. So we are inside Arthur's motel room, inside the Bellevue Hotel in New York City. The time is around, let's say, about 9:20. So Felix has just stepped in. Felix, what you're seeing all around is everyone's in the living room. Hawk has just come out of the living room, and you can hear that there's a man inside, another individual, not part of your group, inside the bedroom. It sounds like he's making phone calls. If you guys were to listen in,
Sorry.
so what would you guys like to do?
You know, I feel a lot better. So I am going to go and not go close to him, but I'm going to listen to kind of in the as far as way as I can.
Okay. Yeah, so around a safe distance is probably the entrance into the bedroom, and you just hear Marcus on the phone saying, yeah, it's a suicide. That's what it looks like. I'd say bring some uniforms. It's pretty serious. I can be here. I'm the one that found him. I've checked the whole apartment. There's no one else here. No sign of breaking and entering. No. I'll tell my client everything in the morning, probably. She doesn't need to know right now. Well, yeah, no, I found some stuff, but I'll hammer it out with the detective when he arrives. And so that's you're kind of just hearing the back and forth between him and whoever's on the other side of the phone. Most likely someone at the station, the precinct that's in 43rd Street in Times Square.
So that gives us about 10 minutes before...
I'd say, yeah. Well, Times Square and 43rd are kind of blocked off right now. So what they'll probably do is they'll secure the hotel. There are cops, there are uniforms outside. So what will probably happen is they'll secure the actual hotel, and then when the detective arrives, which will probably be in the next 25 minutes because of the backup, then they'll actually do an actual forensic investigation of the room.
Okay.
Hey, Tommy, what's going on? Who's that guy in the bedroom?
Oh, you didn't hear? You didn't see
No,
the body?
I was out on the balcony. I was.
It's a brutal mess in there. I would
Oh
not.
no! I saw the body. No, I just let's not get back into that again.
Yeah.
I want to forget about that. Who's the guy on the phone?
Yeah, it seems he's another detective that came in on us. Remember the guy in the mustard suit we saw down the lobby?
Oh, that kook. Yeah.
Yeah. I think we got 3 private detectives in one room. It's got to be a record.
And with that, Marcus hangs up the phone and he turns because Fowler's just like standing in the doorway. And Finley just kind of smirks and says, "You need something?"
I was just, getting away from this nasty murder, suicide thing, whatever.
Yeah,
And
well, if you wanted to leave, the door's out there, not in here.
Before we leave, Mr. Finley, I have to ask the question. And to the GM, I've got my hand on my gun if I need to pull it out.
Sure.
Why were you creeping around downstairs in the lobby?
Arthur was expecting me to show up at about 9. That's what he told me to arrive. I assume, if what you're telling me is the truth, that he wanted me to meet you. We were all supposed to get together and talk about what's been going on. But now with and he kind of looks into the bedroom or the bathroom with what's happened, that kind of changes things.
Well, how well did you know Mr. Tucker?
Well, I've been working with him for, let's see here, about 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks.
Is he rich?
I don't think he's rich. No.
So how's he staying in this apartment up here?
My client.
The lady that you mentioned.
Well, one of them. And he kind of chuckles and he says, I'm going to let you know all of this when you arrive. I don't want you to get scared off, or I want you to hear it directly from them. All right?
All right.
But do what you need to do here. The cops are coming. Well, at least 3 detectives are. They're taking this pretty seriously. You know, this is a high-end hotel, and they want to make sure, rule out foul play. But from what it looks like in there, you know, it's hard to say otherwise.
I'm not so sure that's going to be so easy to do, considering all of the broken glass and the ice and the mess, the general mess in here.
Broken glass.
To me, like there might have been a struggle.
And he kind of, walks and he kind of thumps you on the chest and says, "Show me, point it out."
And I pointed out to him. I say Fowler's the one who sort of found it.
And he kind of walks over and he kneels down, he squats down and picks up a piece.
Did you also say that the fridge was kind of askew?
The door was open. The refrigerator door was open and the freezer door was open.
The door was open.
Yeah. And you can see Finley, and he's looking at the glass, and he looks and he sees the refrigerator too. And he says, "So I'm going to guess that's where he got the murder weapon."
It seems like that.
The ice pick.
Wow. And that ice pick was bent to shit. He was jamming that thing into his face.
Unless it was bent already.
Must you?
Also, there's something under the bed. Tommy pointed it out, but I haven't had a chance to look yet.
Right.
Wait, can I interrupt you, Mr. Hawk?
Sure.
I guess I would ask this to the GM, though.
Okay.
Can you remind me, when we first came in, you said there was broken glass and ice on the floor in the kitchen, right?
Yes.
Okay. I'm just going to make a point of this to everybody in case anybody else is not thinking already. If the ice wasn't melted, that means it probably happened very recently.
Right. Just before we got here.
So.
Yes. And something that should be pointed out to Hawk, I don't know if you remember, but I said that there was fresh blood. It wasn't dried. So this happened recently. Everything that was in here happened recently. Yes. And Jeff, can you give me an intelligence roll? Since you're already on that kind of train of thought.
Ooh, 11.
I never said there was a cup on the breakfast nook. There was just a bottle of brandy that was open.
Okay.
Okay, so it was never a cup or a glass.
It could be, well, no, I was going to make a joke, but I'm not going to make it. It's stupid.
Okay.
It's an empty bottle of brandy now, I'll tell you.
And the light bulbs were smashed by hand, obviously, because
Is that why none of the lights are working?
Yeah. That light's working because I got it from the hallway. And that's why the one in the hallway is not working.
What was this? And he turns to Tommy and William. He says, "What was the thing under the bed?"
It looks like he took all of the towels and stuff and tore them to shreds. And
Oh, shit.
it's really weird.
Arthur was going a little, you know.
Yeah, you don't have to tell us that.
Yeah. Well, he was going a little wackadoo towards the end. Just recently, though. But don't say anything when you meet the client, you know.
All right. Well, I can't think of anything else before we leave.
All the lights on?
I've got a question I'd like to ask Mr. Sorry, I didn't catch your name. I was outside.
Finley, and he kind of looks you up and down. He says, "And who are you?"
My name is Felix Epstein, although you may know me as the Great Bamboni.
I don't.
Fair play. Perhaps you know me as the inestimable Great Spagboletti.
I definitely don't know that one.
Oh, that was a long time ago. It was mainly on the burlesque circuit.
You look pale as a sheet.
Yeah, I'm not feeling so great. I'm not really very good around blood. But I do have one question for you, Mr. Finley.
Mm-hmm.
Who the hell is Roy Klein?
Roy Klein?
Yeah.
No idea.
Oh, I thought you might know.
No idea.
Never mind.
What are you? None of you are Roy Klein, and I'm certainly not Roy Klein.
I'm Roy Klein.
Yeah, me too.
And he kind of
He's Roy
smirks
Klein.
and says,
We were told by Arthur to say that we were Roy Klein.
Yeah.
I apologize if the thunder, by the way. We're having a huge storm down here in Dallas, so there's going to be
Can't hear it.
All right. Well, that's good. All right.
But what a nice mood maker.
I know. All right. Marcuson says, now, listen, as much as I'd love having you guys here, I've got one more phone call I've got to make. And, you know.
All right. We'll see you tomorrow on Staten Island.
Wow. Like I said, you're going to go to the motel and you're going to basically stay there. At 6:30 tomorrow evening, I'm going to call you and give you instructions. All right? So enjoy your day in the city. All right? All right. Now,
William,
So-
can you grab those papers?
Shh, he already grabbed them. He stuffed them in his.
All right.
I grabbed them.
And I say thank you so much. Sorry to be a bother to you. And I am going to leave the room and I'm outside.
All right. Let's all get into the elevator.
sure. All right. So you guys sink down to the elevator. You guys have a minute to talk.
Yeah, I wanted to say something.
Sure. Go ahead.
Does everybody remember the woman that was leaving when we got on the elevator? Let's,
Yeah.
I wonder if we'll see her tomorrow,
Oh, I think we will.
because I think that there was somebody in that apartment with him.
Could very well be.
All right. So the elevator doors open, and they reveal Thompson.
Henry.
Thompson is in the lobby. He's just kind of standing there.
Well, the gang's all together now.
Yeah.
Henry, what are you doing here?
I will say that when you look at him, he seems to have aged like 10 years. He's not trashy looking or anything like that. I mean, he's still well dressed, but he looks malnourished. And when the elevator door opens, he's sort of he's startled, and he looks at you guys. He says, gentlemen, it's good to see you all in good health."
Well, I'm. Were you also called by a Mr. Arthur Tucker to be here?
Why else would I be here?
Okay. Well, we'll tell you everything that happened to us, and you can tell us about yesterday.
All right.
I need Felix and Fowler to give me spot hidden rolls.
I fail.
I passed with an 18.
All right. Everyone's kind of caught up in the moment. Thompson's just arrived. He just appeared out of nowhere. Everyone's kind of caught up with that. But you look past Thompson, and you're looking down through the lobby, and you see, you see two men wearing all black hats, black coats, black suits. They're wearing scarves. It's cold outside. And they leave the lobby, and they literally, the doors to the elevator opened up, and they're slipping out the revolving door. It doesn't look like they're clientele of the Bellevue. They may be wearing black suits and black coats, but they're not extravagant like the people in the lobby with you. They just look like normal people like you.
Well,
And you're the only one that sees it. Everyone else is caught up with Thompson.
Hey, did you just? Oh, never mind.
All right. What would you all like to do now? You're standing in the lobby.
Oh, I thought we gave you the thing where now you could do Henry's intro.
Sounds like a plan. All right.
Since how about we do it this way? Because we're all going to, I guess, leave and go to a more or less neutral area to sit down and catch up, right? Is that what the plan is, or were you guys headed somewhere?
Yeah, we'll just assume that you're telling us this.
Yeah.
Over the course of the next hour.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much what I was going to say. So, yeah. I mean, there's no reason to, I don't know if you're going to have people take off their headsets.
Oh, no.
Okay.
No need to take off their headsets. All right. So
but we're going to go back in time to the day before.
Back in time to the night before. All right. Let's jump back, everyone, to the port city of Providence, Rhode Island. A bustling harbor trying its hardest to stave off the infection of socio-economic rot. Slowly, let's narrow in our scope, drifting down through the salty sea mist until we come upon a quiet college pub, open late for the tired, hard-at-work professors of Brown University. Inside, cigar smoke drifts by in the low light as various faculty members of Brown simply drink and talk. But let's ignore the mundane gabbings of overworked faculty. Instead, we focus on two men sitting in the very furthest corner of the bar.
Excuse me.
They're older gentlemen, as you can tell from the coughing. Both beaten, weathered men, yet ever so they smile at each other. The first, sitting on the right, wearing a Brown University sweater vest and thin, round glasses, is Professor Baxter, head of the archaeology department. The second, his colleague, Dr. Henry Thompson. Baxter smiles as he leans in, a pint in his hand. So, Thompson, are you excited for the potential of going to the Valley of the Kings with me? We're thinking about 2 years from now. This expedition has a lot of nuances. The area is very up in the air, so to speak.
Yeah, it would be nice to finally get out of the United States for a while. Be quite nice.
Wow.
Yeah, I am a bit excited. And I guess at this point, although he still looks emaciated a bit, he seems to brighten up a bit. You know, there's a little color that comes into his palette.
And Baxter kind of his smile kind of wanes when he sees this blush of color, and he says, "How are you doing after the whole Raidley thing? I know that was a year ago, but things stick with a man, you know?"
I try to take it one day at a time and try not to think about it, actually.
Really?
And then he takes a deep drink of his mug.
Wow. Let's hope that you're taking some time off from that arcane society after that, then.
Yes, it's been a while since I've actually spoken to anyone from the society.
Well, good on you for not going. I'm a little worried that they do more harm than good, so to speak.
Well, I wouldn't say that. It's just the things that we come across. Again, I don't want to get too into it, but we do important work. It's the danger of the job, the risk of that particular profession. So,
well,
hopefully we don't find anything as dangerous in Egypt.
No, actually, I've been looking into this. I've been thinking, like I've been telling you for the last couple of years, I thought I pinpointed the location of a pharaoh, but I don't think it's a pharaoh. After going through the texts and the location, I don't think that this is a pharaoh. I think this is something else.
What do you mean something else?
Well, possibly a priest or a prince, maybe a princess, but definitely something from the 23rd dynasty, which...
Okay.
Now, we were talking a little bit about the Arcane Society, and you're interested in this trip to Egypt, and I'm just wondering how deep into this whole Arcane Society thing you are. How far in are you?
Why do you ask?
Well, I want to talk to you about something I've recently, and the barkeep then shouts over from the side, and it goes, "Is there a Professor Thompson?"
Please excuse me. I'll be back in a moment. Hold that thought, though.
And Baxter smiles and kind of leans back. And the barkeep, he sees you stand up and he says, "Are you Thompson?"
I am, sir.
Phone.
I wonder who this could be. Wondering if it's Lenora. I haven't heard from her in ages. Now I walk over to the phone.
All right. What you hear is...
I kind of pause, hoping that it's Lenora. I try to straighten myself up, as if she could see me. And I say, yes, this is Professor Thompson speaking.
Hello. This is a long-distance call. Do you understand that the caller accepts all charges?
Yes, that's understood.
Putting you through now, sir. And you hear static. And then you hear breathing. Heavy breathing. And you hear a man go, "Hello?
Hello. Who's this?"
Are you Dr. Thompson? I've been calling around. I tried calling your office, and they said that you were gone. I've been calling the university trying to find you.
This is Dr. Thompson speaking. Who am I speaking to?
I don't know if I can tell you over the phone. I think that
I pull off my glasses and rub the bridge of my nose, and I'm like, oh, boy. Go on.
Is everything that happened at the Raidley house true?
Who is this?
I can't tell you my name right now. Listen, I need your help. I need all of your help. I'm having problems. I'm having dreams. They won't stop. I can't tell anymore. Hold on. Stop! Stop talking! I'm sorry. Dr. Thompson, please, I need your help. I've called the others, and I think that they're all coming. I just need to know if you'll help me.
Can I roll a psychology?
Yes. Yes. Roll a psychology on this and that.
I'm thinking it's a prank call. Somebody's fucking with me. Who else would know about?
Well, the Radley case was
it in the papers?
It was in the paper, but what it was said in the papers was that 2 people disappeared and 1 person was murdered. The maid of Radley was murdered. Trent Sterling and Baldwin disappeared, and everyone thought it was Radley, and there was a huge trial. I'm assuming that some of you, the law enforcement members, testified and said it wasn't him, but he went crazy because of it. And he's in an institution.
And then Fowler.
Oh, yes, and then Fowler.
I got a 15 out of 60.
Tom, if you want to inform Thompson of what Fowler did, because I don't think he knows.
Fowler's well, how do you say it exactly? That he's a consultant on a radio show, and he's basically painted us all as well, especially me, as drunken fools, and that he solved the case. So
Yes.
yeah, it's pretty much public knowledge by now what happened. Although nobody believes it, they think it's lobstermen from outer space.
Yes, the true case files of Dexter Fowler airs on NBC Red every Saturday, every 2 weeks.
My character's of the opinion that I don't really care because I'd rather not have the publicity myself.
Okay.
But
all right. As for your psychology roll, yeah, he's definitely losing it. He's panicked. He's freaking out. You can hear papers are like rustling in the background. You can hear something like being drug across the floor. Maybe the phone itself, like the rotary. He is like panicking about something.
All right, what city are you in?
I'm in New York City. I'm at a hotel on 43rd Street. Listen, I need you to get on the next train and to arrive at the Bellevue Hotel on 43rd Street at 8:45. Then go to the concierge and tell him your name is Roy Klein. Your name is Roy Klein. Do you understand me? Please.
Very well. Let's see. I look at my watch right now. What my pocket watch? What time is it?
It's rather late. You'd have to probably catch the train tomorrow morning. It's so late.
Okay. All right. Well, I can't leave tonight. It's pretty late, but I can try to catch the next train out.
Thank you. I'll have your money waiting for you. Okay?
Very well. I will be in contact.
And he hangs up the phone. And when you hear the dial tone, in your peripheral view, you can see Professor Baxter getting up and he's putting on his jacket.
I want to roll the psychology on that.
On
but
what?
Did he know this was going to happen?
Who, Baxter?
Yeah. I mean, I get up and he gives sort of a smile. And now I'm having a private conversation on the phone. And as soon as I hang up, he's getting up and he's leaving as if all of this has been planned.
Like a prank?
Well, I'm not thinking of it as a prank now because of what I've gone through in the past. I'm starting to get a little paranoid.
Okay. Go ahead and roll a psychology roll.
All right. And no, that is an 81 out of 60.
Yeah, it just looks like he's probably tired. There's a blizzard going on right now in northern New England. Maine and Rhode Island and a little bit of Massachusetts is being hit right now. So he probably just wants to avoid the cold, probably go home. But he's putting on his jacket, and he's kind of waiting there for you. He's waiting to say goodbye at the very least.
Okay, so I'll walk over to him and I'll say, seems that I have business in New York. I need to look at a particular psychology case there.
Well, I assume you had work. Why else would someone be calling you at? And he looks at his watch and he says, at 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
Well, and you can see that he's he puts on his glove and you can see that he's gripping something. And he says, well, we'll talk another time then when you're finished.
What is he gripping?
You can't really see it right now, but he's kind of gripping in his hand, and he kind of puts his hand in his pocket, and he says, we'll talk when you're back. And he kind of pats you on the shoulder, and he walks past you. So Professor Baxter, he strides out of the pub and into the darkness outside. And Thompson, as you stood there, watching your friend step into the mushy spring snow, you spot, and when he brings his hand out, clasped in Baxter's hand is a vial with a brown liquid. And with that, he's gone.
What do you mean he's gone? He just walks down the street, or he disappears altogether?
He walks into the darkness. He hails a cab.
All right.
All right.
Why are you late then? That's an interesting story, but did you miss your train or something?
Well, I did. I got back to my apartment, and I was preparing to leave, and then I started to think about our previous case, and I decided I wasn't going to go. I wasn't going to come.
Yeah.
And so I stayed the following day. And then I just kept on hearing the voice of this young man over the phone. And I felt like if I didn't do anything, that voice would just come back and haunt me. And
Well, not to mention your association with the Arcane Society. It's kind of the reason why I came along. I just had a feeling, there's something going on here. So now we are heading to Staten Island, and we're going to be staying in the Richmond Hotel. Marcus is putting us up, and he's got some stuff to discuss with us tomorrow evening.
okay.
And basically we tell him everything that's happened so far, which we won't actually do, but we've done that on the trip. So shall we say that we're arriving at the Richmond Hotel? What time I don't know how long it takes to get to Staten Island.
Oh, it takes about an hour. You get across the bridge, and cars don't go 75 miles an hour nowadays. It's a 30 mile. It's a 30 mile an hour trip, and you're in New York, heavy traffic. So
Can I interrupt? Sorry.
go
Before we leave, or as we were leaving the hotel, could I glance down the street, and I'm curious if that Chevrolet, the black Chevrolet, is still there?
yes. Yeah. If you look in that same spot, you don't have to make a roll. You already spotted it. Yeah, it's gone.
It's gone. Okay.
And you can see that the crowd is kind of making its way into Times Square. They're kind of like pooling there. But as you guys are leaving, you do see that some of the, I wouldn't say more unruly people, but some of the more vocal people, or who you assume to be the vocal people, are laying on the ground. They've been hit in the head. They're not moving. Blood in the snow, blood on the street.
Oh, wow.
No one's helping them. And anyone who tries to move close to the barricades are swatted at by police.
And as we move past all of that, I say, welcome to New York. Seems to be our theme, doesn't it?
It does.
All right. So, does anyone else want to do anything before we move on to the motel? No? All right. Tom? Or Clifton?
No, I think we're cool.
Okay. Sleazy, trashy, dirty. All of these things apply to the Richmond Motel.
Just like home.
You guys can hear the waves of the bay crashing as your car pulls up to the seedy establishment. What can be said about it? Well, as you guys kind of step out into the parking lot, you can see that there's prostitutes walking up the street. You can see that there are some ill-reputable characters just kind of sitting outside of the doors, smoking and just looking around. One of them doesn't have a shirt on. He sits on the second story, and he's just got no shirt, sitting there with a cigarette, and he's just looking at the street, because just down the street, just down Richmond, is where the women stand, the streetwalkers stand. So he's just watching them walk by.
He's got some serious stamina. It's freezing.
I know. It is. It's like 31 degrees. It's pretty chilly, and you're right next to the bay, so the chill is just hitting you. Yeah. You can see that there's there's a neon sign that says the Richmond Motel, and just beneath that is the lobby with the curtains drawn, and it's this kind of grimy, horrible floral pattern curtain.
All right. So we go inside.
All right. So Hawk, so you push open the door, and you hear the ringing of a bell, which denotes your entrance. And what you open into is grimy tile floor, this stained ceiling, and there's an old man, and he's stooped over the reception desk, and there's a radio beside him playing an episode of the Goldbergs. And he doesn't welcome you. He just kind of glances up. He doesn't acknowledge you. He doesn't say anything. He just simply stares at you. Thin, ratchety old man. He just stares at you with this unpleasant gaze.
William whispers to Tommy, "Can we go back to that other hotel?"
I wasn't expecting this.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Could I get a room with an ensuite? What time is breakfast?
We have been told by Marcus Finley that we need to that he'll put us up here.
And the man, he still sits like this, and he kind of looks at the six of you, and he goes, "Marcus usually brings a girl or two." And he kind of leans under the desk, and he grabs some keys, and he says, "All right, follow me." And he kind of just wobbles out from behind the desk and into the lobby. All right. So he leads you out, and he takes you to the second story of the motel, which overlooks the bay. And I mean, that's a pretty interesting view. You can see the ships as they cross under the bridge, the Staten Island Bridge.
Nice.
So it's a very interesting shot from the bay. But he kind of wobbles over to a single room, and he turns the knob, room 25, and he pushes open the door, and you're immediately hit with this stench of mold.
And probably cigarette smoke.
Yes, and bleach.
Well,
So
at least they use bleach.
and he walks inside and he turns on the light and he says, "Those 2 beds, as you can see. There's a cot in the closet." And he looks at the others and he says, "I guess there's a sofa. Radiator's over there. Shower's in the bathroom. We changed the towels out, but you got to put them in the bin and put them outside your door. All right."
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah. If you need anything, see you in the morning.
That's
And he-
amazing. I didn't know that he dispensed penicillin. We're all going to need it in the morning.
Yeah, so there's 6 of you, and there's 2 beds, and they're fulls. So they're in between the queen and twin, and then a
Wow.
sofa, and there's a small cot in the closet that you can pull out.
I will
It'll
stay
be
on the cot.
So Fowler's gonna sleep on
Yes,
the cot.
we would like you to stay on the cot, Dexter.
Hey.
Nobody wants to sleep with you.
Ha!
Well, you don't, but
No.
Tell that to your radio.
I'll be with Henry and the 2 friends over here and Bamboni. I don't care, however everybody wants to.
I guess, Dexter, when you write this up, it's going to be what? A 5-star hotel with a private swimming pool?
And 3 prostitutes.
Who closes the door to the room?
William does.
Okay. William, as you're closing the door, and this kind of sticks out because there's not a whole lot of action that's happening outside. You see a car pull up into the auto parts store across the street, and it's closed. And you just see the lights, the tail lights turn off, and that's it.
What kind of a car was it? Was it distinctive?
It's a black SUV, so probably a Ford.
Do they have SUVs back in?
Yeah. Well, SUV as in like it's like a suburban. It's like a large,
touring car.
yeah, it's like a touring car. It's larger than what you're used to. It's a 4-door, not a 2-door.
So it would be maybe an expensive automobile.
yes, I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure it would be.
Relatively, we're not talking like it's not a Chrysler or anything like
It's
that.
not
Well,
a Rolls Royce. It's just
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm just thinking to come to this dump, you know.
Well, yeah, and they're not even to the dump. They're over
they're
at the auto
across the
parts.
street.
Yeah.
They're across the street.
That seems fishy. Are they watching us?
The car is pointed towards the auto parts shop.
I say, guys, there's a car parking over there at the shop that's closed down just now. It's a bit weird.
Well, some people don't want to pay for a hotel room.
I suppose so.
I think that that we're in it, boys. Somebody's watching. I wouldn't be surprised if we are under surveillance.
Well, it's funny you should say that because just as we were coming out of the elevator at the hotel, I noticed that there were a couple of shifty-looking fellas just leaving.
I noticed some strange-looking guys as we were coming in.
And a shifty-looking pair dressed in black, the ones I saw.
I'm not so sure that Marcus Finley isn't a shifty fellow.
Probably is.
Well, the easiest way to find out is to find out. Are any of you armed other than me? Dexter, did you bring a gun?
I did.
All right.
Of
I've
course,
got my knives.
he's probably has a Thompson or something.
No. Not that crazy yet.
William says, I've got a boomerang. My dad brought it back from the Merchant Navy.
Well, if any of you would like, feel free to smoke in this room. It'll make it smell better, probably.
I pull out my pipe.
Yeah.
So,
What do you guys want to do? You're in the motel room.
I light a cigar.
All right.
Ooh! Look at the swell with his cigars.
Do you want one too there, Felix?
Never touched them. I'm going to have a cigarette.
he makes more money than the rest of us combined, mainly because of his fanciful little stories.
Mm-hmm.
I don't make that much more than the rest.
Do you ever get any time to do any actual detective work, or is it just the
Of course not. It's just in his fictional world.
I do real detective work.
All right. This is all very fishy because none of us have seen 1 cent yet. The guy calls us, brings us here, promises to pay us, and then dies before we can.
Let me ask you, I mean, you've heard my story. When this man called you, did he sound the same? Did he sound panicked?
Yes, panicked, shuffling papers, yelling at somebody in the room, please stop talking. I think the talking was in his head. He told, I don't know if he told everyone here, but he told some of us to say that they were Roy Klein.
Lying. Yeah.
Which I don't know why he wouldn't think that would be suspicious that Roy Klein would keep coming in over and over again.
Well, apparently this young man is mentally...
Yeah, crackpot. But he didn't deserve to be murdered. We don't know what's going on with that.
Hey, William, is that name on that list that you took?
Say that again, Tommy?
Hey, William, is that name Roy Klein? Is that on that list that you have that had all the names on it?
William pulls out all of the notes and things and starts to go through the legal pad.
Oh, yeah. Let's have a look at these.
Yeah, and this is the first time that Henry's seen it. So, Henry, you just see William pull out of his pocket a bunch of papers from like a legal pad, and all up and down them are names, and they're names of people that you know, friends, family, co-workers. You even see Professor Baxter's name on there, and they've been crossed off. Some of them have been circled but then X'd through. There's notes like doesn't know, won't talk to me, doesn't know, doesn't know them.
Is Lenora's name on there?
Yes, but you see there's a note and it says can't find or get in touch.
He's been trying for some time to find us all. So that, to me, that kind of explains the list. These are all people we know that he's been trying to contact.
Quick question.
Wait a minute. Hold on, Corey. Is Roy's name on that list?
Roy Klein is not on the list.
Not on the list. Okay.
I think it was a made-up name.
Was there any like dates of like the last of the first person contacted?
Yeah, I mean, there are names. Like you see, Diana's name is highlighted; it's circled, but not X through. You see Amelia's name, Amelia Court. It's been circled, and you see there's a number, and so you can see what the chain of command here is. Is that he started with people that he thought that you may have known, and then gone through, and then found someone, and then just got your name and number from them, and then called you.
What do we know? He called us on the phone. He was obviously suffering from some mental problem. He told us that he was having dreams.
Right.
He kept saying, referring to a she. She will know, or she will find out. He was afraid of something. Yeah, all these papers that are that William grabbed that have these drawings of a lady with red eyes.
I show that to Professor Thompson as well.
Yeah, and it's just it's it's a very, I wouldn't say a detailed, but it's very elaborate. Is a feminine figure drawn in black with red eyes. There's no facial features or any real body features. It's just like the shape and then the eyes.
Anything else on that particular paper? Any sort of notes or?
Nope, just the drawing.
There was lots and lots and lots of them, Professor.
There was stuff under the bed, torn sheets with possibly bodily fluids on them, and Marcus Finley seemed to know something about that. Marcus Finley knows way more. He says he's going to tell us tomorrow, but I think we need to be careful that he doesn't come in here and we've found out too much. And
well, how long had we been up there before he turned up, this fella?
Probably 15 minutes. Show up at 9 o'clock is what he said. And that's around the time he arrived. 9 o'clock, 9:02. Around that time.
Excuse me, Mr. Hawk. Do you think we're in danger here because of that? There's a car across the road, and you think we're maybe being followed?
It's hard to tell. It's too easy to be really jumpy about everything. Could just be a guy and his girlfriend making out across the street. This is that kind of a neighborhood.
You can tell that William's getting a little bit nervous about it all. A little bit claustrophobic.
Has anyone gone back to the window or opened the door or anything like that?
Well, as he asked me about it, maybe I walk back over there and I take a look.
Okay. Yeah, you open the window and no car. It's gone.
It's gone. It's gone. It's probably nothing. Probably somebody came to the shop to see if they could get a piffle valve or something like that, and saw that it was closed and left. Who knows? It's probably nothing.
A piffle valve? Or is that what you fellas on the...
I know nothing about mechanics, so I just made it up.
I think that's on the West Coast. I think that's what they call an embatium.
You are speaking an alien language to me, Mr. Or rather, Great. Should I just call you Great?
Could you show us a magic trick, Mr. Epstein? it would maybe cheer us up.
Okay. I show them a magic trick.
Well, hold on. This is a role-playing game. What's the trick? Like, I need you to explain.
Hang on a second.
As Clifton Hawk does his own little magic tricks.
He just disappeared. Oh my God, where'd he go?
He did that last night.
Yeah.
I will also say that it is because Jeff was asking me. It is around 10:30, 10:45 at night, and it did take anywhere between 4 to 10 hours to get to New York. Other than Dexter, Dexter lives here, so didn't take him any time. Oh, hold on. What's the trick?
Okay.
The people listening to this are going to hate it because it's just going to be silence, and then
for the benefit of people listening to this, I have produced a deck of cards, which I'm now holding in my right hand. Actually, I'm now holding it in my left hand, rather impressively, actually using the mechanics grip. So, anyway, I'll just shuffle the cards. Oh Christ! I've just dropped. For the benefit of the people listening, I've just dropped the cards. Okay, and now I'm going to shuffle them.
And he makes money at this.
Yeah, this is all happening in game. Like you just dropped a bunch of cards on the ground.
I'm
It's a
nervous. Look, I
really
saw a
good
man
thing.
with his eyes gouged out earlier on. Right, one of you.
Or me,
Okay,
please.
I'll riffle the cards, and William, tell me when to stop. Okay.
Stop.
Okay. So, I'll cut the cards there. That is your card.
Okay.
Now, I've realised that the problem with this trick at this point is that you're supposed to see the card, and I don't know what it is, but I can see you and me on the script, so I'm going to have to sort of do this, so I can't see the card. So I'm just going to show you the card. Can you see the card?
Up a bit.
Higher.
Up a bit. Oh,
Okay.
yes.
Right, you know what the card is.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Great Bambini.
So I'm now going to shuffle the deck.
I'm so excited.
And what I'm going to do, for the benefit of those listening, in game, I'm going to say, William, why don't you go into the bathroom and look at the mirror? And in order to get that effect, what I'll do is I'll send you a link now.
This is elaborate. This is an elaborate trick.
I can literally go into the bathroom if you want, Mr. Epstein.
Well, in game, I'd like you to go into. How do I do that? Oh, for goodness sake!
Role-playing games.
Robert, this is actually quite difficult to do in the context of an online role-playing game. I now realise.
I'm going to the bathroom.
You go to the bathroom.
He's literally going to the bathroom. He's in the bathroom.
Wait, I already know how this trick is done because they're both in Scotland.
This is truly brilliant because he's actually going to go into his bathroom and actually find the card that he just selected there.
Tom.
I would like worship you as a god if you could do something like that.
I'm in the bathroom.
Okay. So I've just sent you a link.
Oh my god.
Oh,
So if you click on that, the link in the chat, it should be the card that your character finds stuck to the mirror in the bathroom of this motel.
That is brilliant. Oops.
What is it, William? What is it?
I can't believe it, everybody.
Yeah. And there it is. It's on the
Here
Oh my
is the
God.
card. How did you do it? The great Bambini does it again.
I'm
It's
astounded.
just magic.
Through time and space and the internet.
And as you guys are doing that, you guys can hear that there's like a very vicious fight happening downstairs between some woman and some man. Like it's almost 11 o'clock at night, and they're screaming at each other, and you can hear it end with and then a cry, and
the guy, was it a sort of manly, girlish cry?
Oh yeah, it was a manly, girlish cry.
The woman gets the better of him.
Yeah. All right. What would you guys like to do now?
Well, what time did you say it was? About 10:30?
Well, now it's about 11.
Yeah, I'm going to try to go to sleep.
Okay.
Let's get some sort of, because the faster I can sleep and wake up tomorrow, the faster we can get out of this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wash that card with some surgical spirit because I'm really worried about how easily it's stuck to that mirror.
Ew.
That was pretty good.
All right. So is everyone going to bed?
William's going to look out the window towards the sea or the water, or whatever.
Okay. And how long would you like to do that? Because everyone else is kind of getting settled and everyone's nestling into bed.
He's just musing and mulling over the day. He's getting into his zone, his creative zone in his mind, and thinking about the danger they might be in, or the people that we've met and the horrific scene that he saw.
Okay.
And he's writing a little bit in his journal. Little thoughts.
Are you going to fall asleep in that chair?
If there's a chair there, yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a chair. All right.
I've got to just pop outside and propitiate the elder gods. Or
That is fine.
teleport a card earlier on.
I need everyone, because you're all eventually going to go to sleep. I need everyone to take off your headphones but Tom.
Who? Oh,
Tom,
me?
you. All right.
Can't we just we can
No, I think it rearranges everybody.
Yeah, we're afraid it rearranges everyone.
Oh right.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought we could just turn off our audio.
Right.
But we can't. Okay, I'll just take my headphones off.
All right.
Love you, Mick. Bye.
Don't mind me.
Okay. Hawk,
Mm-hmm.
you're asleep. Hawk, you find yourself in a snowy mountainous landscape, walking up a steep incline. It's night, the sky as black as the torrid abyss beneath the sea, yet a subtle blue glow passes through the trees around you, illuminating your path. Torrential sleet pounds at you, soaking through your coat, pants, and shoes. You're freezing to death. You can feel it, but there's something else you feel. A pulsing that wriggles your muscles and flesh, which thrumps in your eardrums, though there is no real noise. It calls to you, and so you climb higher and higher, climbing past the tree line, climbing past the mountains around you. It's almost like there's no end. But then you reach the summit. All around you, mountains, jagged rocks sprouting out of all direction, forming the earth's spine. The wind howls and whips around you, the rhythmic pulse rocking your body every other moment. You turn to the right and stare across the night's horizon towards the nearest peak. There stands a Plains Indian, pale as snow and shirtless in the cold. In one hand, the man holds a tomahawk, and the other rises to point at you. It is now that you realize, Hawk, that the clouds above are swirling, lightning streaking across the landscape, illuminating mountains as far as the eye can see. Turn back, a ghostly voice says, the figure staring at you. Turn back. It's at that moment that a blast of lightning strikes the mountain, illuminating everything surrounding the man. In that flash, you see it. Behind the pale figure, stretching up from behind the mountain itself, colossal, writhing tendrils. They lift up into the sky, the coarse black flesh stirring the clouds like a pot. Behind the mountain is where it lies. And knowing that, you feel in that moment terror beyond anything imaginable. You're going to wake up, Tom, screaming in fear, sweat drenched. You're going to wake up every other character, and you can relay to them as much as you want. All right?
All right.
All right. Come back. Come back. Okay. So everyone is asleep. Tom?
All right. So I'm asleep, and then
You all wake up to Hawk screaming. It's about 5 o'clock. The sun hasn't even come through the windows. He's just like screaming and sits up in bed.
What's happening? What's happening?
Are you okay, Hawk? Are you okay?
Well, I'm okay. It's just a really bad dream. I'd thought that I had escaped these really, really bad dreams, but I'm so sorry, folks. Just go back to sleep. What time is it?
About 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, just go back to sleep. I'm so sorry. I'll sit up.
I don't think I can go back to sleep now. Thanks.
Yeah, I'm gonna go out and I can't sleep, so I'm gonna go get a coffee.
There's probably a coffee shop down the street.
Anybody want anything?
Yes, could you pick us all up a cup of coffee?
I will do that.
I'll have a flat white as well.
I'll try not to solve
Which I
some
think
murder
is a
case
plate.
on the way there and back.
I'll leave that for you guys.
Right. We'll do the heavy lifting and you take the credit, right?
Yeah, give me some coffee too. Henry, can I talk to you for a few minutes?
And I leave.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Certainly.
I don't really care if anybody else hears. I just want to sit with Henry for a minute. So, you and I have certain bits of knowledge because of our association with the Arcane Society.
Right.
And we've gotten to the point where certain dreams are very, very, when they're this vivid, they mean something. Ever since we were first involved in the documents
The witch
with the witch papers,
papers.
I have been having a kind of a vision. I thought that it was just because of the weirdness, but I see everything covered in ice. I'm in the dark. I'm climbing a mountain or something like that. And there's something beyond the mountain, something reaching up into the clouds, something writhing like worms or tentacles. And this time I saw this American Indian, and I've seen him before. I've seen him. I think that I have died twice already. And every time I come back, I see that man. Now, maybe it's a hallucination or whatever, but I don't think hallucinations are the same every time you have them.
Can I roll a psychology on that? My knowledge of psychology. Which will
You don't really need to.
Well, what I'm trying to figure out. I mean, this is part of our conversation, but when it comes to dreams, what's that? Oh, when it comes to dreams or hallucinations, will a reoccurring hallucination, is that something that's?
Well, I mean, just because your medical background is in psychology, you know that reoccurring dreams are often with people who have been in traumatic situations. Hallucinations can be the same, though hallucinations are a tricky thing because, you can't document a hallucination. You can't, track a hallucination and when it's like this and when it's like this. It's in the person's eye.
Based on my recent, over the last year, studies and association, can I do a Cthulhu Mythos roll?
Yes.
28. Nope, not enough.
Do you want to spend luck points?
This early? Yeah, I'll spend 8 luck points.
Okay. So you are familiar with the psychic energies that surround most deities within the Cthulhu mythos. And it's possible in your studies, because you did studies on the deep ones for Freak Show. It's possible that there's a link. There's you're getting some kind of link between you and another thing. You don't really know what the thing is, where the thing is, who it is. You don't know any of that, but you understand that there could be some kind of link between you and something else.
Okay. Am I aware at all of any of the literature on the Dreamlands?
You understand that something is theoretically possible, but you do not know how to get there. You do not know. Everything that you've read is kind of differing, and that could just be because there's different locations in the Dreamlands.
Well, and it's something that I have no confirmation of yet.
Yes, you know that in theory it could exist, and so would probably Thompson, since he has associations with the Arcane Society post the Challenger lecture.
Certainly, yeah, certainly enough of the stuff like written by Dr. Elizabeth Keith and
Yeah.
the people with her afterwards.
And that was that one fellow.
That's not saying whether you guys survived or not, but some of your literature did.
I'm pretty sure Professor Smythe would have written.
Yeah.
Some literature as well.
So you know that something like the Dreamlands could exist. You don't know how to access it or get there or what it means, but that's really about it.
All right. Well, I'm unnerved. I need something to drink. Do we have any alcohol?
There's a mini bar.
Is there?
There's a fucking mini bar in this place?
Yeah, it's charged. It's
1931.
yeah, it's a small little.
Is it in the bathtub?
No, it's a small ice box that he's put like assortments of drinks in. However, by drinks, it's prohibition, so they're just Cokes.
It's fucking Coke. I hate Coke. I don't actually hate Coke, but I don't drink Coke. Oh, wait, does the Coke have Coke in it back then?
Yes,
Or is that? Do I have to go back another 50 years?
hold on, this is the.
Think
Is this the 30s or the?
1931.
It should still have cocaine in it.
I should just be able to get cocaine on the street, or
I mean, it's medicinal.
all the drugs are medicinal at this point.
I know the heroin is currently medicinal.
All drugs are medicinal. Boredom kills more people than cancer.
Well, and heroin, that's for children.
Yeah.
Opium?
So-
That's for the masses.
Well,
assuming
a little clarification on opium. Opium is actually illegal, because not because of what you think, but it's just because of the Chinese.
Yeah, it's a racial
No,
thing.
noxious foreign muck. That's right.
That's exactly what it is. There's an
Violence,
association with the
age.
Chinese.
Well, I'd pull out my flask and
All right.
and I'm back with the. I come back with the coffees.
It's not good coffee, but it's coffee. William, you were going to say something?
Yeah, I was just assuming we could hear some of Clifton's and Professor Henry's conversation there. William's really fascinated with the whole supernatural, mysterious, psychic world, but this is the first time he's really heard somebody talk about it like it's real or it's happening. So maybe approach the guys. Was that conversation out loud?
yeah, we were just having it over in the corner.
I kind of approach the gentleman and like,
William,
do you Do you have dreams? Do they speak to you? And I begin to ask questions along that line. And what's the Arcane Society?
Well, the arcade. You've been going to the Miskatonic, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, I'm surprised you haven't heard of it. It's a rich man's club in Arkham that they look at slides of ghosts and stuff like that, and
Oh yeah.
they investigate haunted houses. It's mostly
To debunk.
mostly they debunk charlatans, and there's tons and tons of charlatans.
Hmm.
But
like that one fellow who has that radio show.
occasionally they ask some of us to assist when they really need an expert to investigate something unusual. It's almost always nothing.
And
Until-
do your
a few years until a few years ago when we had that one investigation that led to some strange activity. So
Yeah. Let's not talk about that.
yeah.
Dreams are dreams. That's the problem, is there's no way to distinguish between a dream that's a vision of the future or a dream that's just a dream. And nobody ever knows until something's happened and they go, oh yeah, I remember dreaming that. So it's completely useless.
sometimes I daydream, and I feel like I go off, and some of my stories I write, I get in these things.
Well, the mind is kind of a random thing, so once in a while it's going to hit the nail on the head, but that's just probably an accident. I have nightmares, but I've seen some things that I'm not mentally all together there, maybe.
Or you can tell me about them another time. Maybe.
Yes.
Anytime, yeah.
What would you all like to do today? At 6:30, Marcus is going to call you. And that's 6:30 p.m. So you have
Right.
an entire day. So discuss, plan, do whatever you want.
I'm not a Staten Island guy. I don't know anything about this area.
Well, Staten Island is one of the 5 boroughs of
I
New
know
York.
that, yeah.
So you can go into Manhattan. You can go into Queens. You can go into.
Why don't we go see if we can find Timothy in Queens, Timothy Tucker.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's either that or do the tourist thing.
Right.
And we've got the matchbook with this jazz club if you want to check that out. But I think
That's true.
going to see his brother would be a great idea. Although, will you be able to tell him he's dead?
Yeah, I'm not so sure we should say anything, huh?
Police have probably told him by now.
Yeah, I don't think that would be a good idea.
But Tommy's probably right. The police have probably informed him that his brother's dead. Tommy, you still have that picture, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
I am gonna go back to my apartment, grab a few things, and then I'll be back at this place at 5, 6 o'clock.
Okay. So Fowler's going to go off and do his own thing.
Yeah.
All right.
I suggest we all show up at Fowler's apartment tonight for sleeping because I don't want to stay here again.
Yeah.
I think I've got flu.
Besides, I think that fellow owes us.
Well, I would have said we could go and stay with my mother, but since I went on the road, she's let the room out, and
Well,
I can't really turn up with she's hospitable, but to the point of
well, here's a question to the GM. How difficult for us would it be to try to find a better hotel?
I mean, it's not difficult to find another hotel, but
Just costs money.
yeah, it costs money, and it may be money that you guys don't have.
Well, I mean, I'm looking at my credit rating.
Yeah, but it's 1930s and the stock market crashed, and
Yeah, But I mean, I had things tucked away a bit.
Oh,
You best keep them tucked away.
Yeah,
I
you're
don't know
right.
how long this is going to last.
Well, being back here with you guys, I don't know how long I will last.
Oh, Henry, you know what you said to me last year is that you were terrified, but you're also really excited. You want to be here. We all want to be here.
all right. So what's the plan? Where are you guys going first? What you guys doing?
Well, should we go see Timothy or should we just leave that alone for a while?
Well, I think that's something maybe we should do when we have a better idea of what's going on. I mean, he's going to ask
Right,
questions. We've
right.
got nothing we can tell him.
Right.
Well, shall we go see the subway?
Why don't we go to Central Park and see if we can see these donkeys, the famous New York donkeys?
There's donkeys in New York?
Yes,
Yeah,
there is
the five burros.
Yeah, I know the joke.
They're really famous.
Oh, no.
Is that magician a comedian as well, Tommy?
He should be punished.
Yeah, I mean, and it should be noted that there's not a difficulty in you guys finding something to do in New York. There's theaters, there's movie theaters. Public Enemy just came out. This is pre-code, so it's a 3-hour movie about nothing but nudity and violence.
I hear that down in Soho that they're doing their own version of Sodom. Remember, we went and saw that last year.
Yes, actually. If you guys have been keeping up with Sodom, I don't know who has. I don't know if anyone's even interested in Sodom. But as Tom smiles, Anthony Carmichael.
I liked it.
Anthony Carmichael, the producer of that, he rented out a theater, very much Tommy Wiseau room style, and he just kept playing it over and over and over and over and over and over again until he ran out of money.
Yeah, people only went to that so they had somewhere to sleep.
And
the worst play I've ever seen in my life.
It was pretty bad.
And Felix, because you're in the theater circuit in on the East Coast, you know that Anthony Carmichael, no one's heard from him. He's gone. No one cares about him anymore. He's a has-been. So Sodom is done. Sodom's gone.
Oh, what a shame.
One of my friends said that they're working on a film at the moment based on that Dashiell Hammett novel, the Maltese Falcon.
Really?
That'd be a hell of a movie. Yeah, it's got Ricardo Cortez and Baby Daniels in it. BB Daniels.
Yeah, movies are a big thing right now.
Bit of a lineup, I tell you, there's some great stuff coming out.
So you guys are sitting there talking. It's now come to about 7:00 in the morning. So
let's get out of this trash heap and go someplace decent.
All right.
We could go to Central Park and walk around.
Hey, let's just go and get somewhere and get some breakfast.
Yeah.
I got me a hankering for some grits, whatever they are.
I love grits. You don't have grits? Good heavens.
So, GM question.
Grits, I think, is something you put in the bottom of a bird's cage over here.
Well, it's basically ground up corn. It's a hominy, lime treated corn, and then it's ground up, and then it makes kind of almost like mashed potatoes, but they're corn flavored.
So, question. Should we jump ahead to 6:30? Should we just assume that you guys are on the town, you spent your day in New York, you came back, and you're waiting for the phone call?
Well, is there anything that we would like to research? Like the Tucker family from Georgia? I don't even know how we could possibly research that at this point.
I'd like to just look in the phone book.
Okay.
and see if there are any Roy Kleins in the phone book.
Well, you're in New York, so there's about
30 of them.
Yeah, there's about 6 or 7 Roy Kleins in Staten Island alone.
That brings the total of us up to 8 Roy Kleins.
Yeah, I think that we could
If you
skip.
just pick the name at random out of the phone book.
Well, if you guys want to skip, if everyone's okay with that, we'll skip ahead to 6 o'clock or 6:30.
They sightseeing and
Spent a day sightseeing. All right. So,
look at the
6.
size of that building.
Yeah, Empire State Building. Yeah, it just got built.
No, I was looking at the Chrysler Building over there.
Oh, that one
It's
cares
much
But yes,
prettier.
the Empire State Building over there is quite impressive, but the Chrysler Building is much more attractive. And, oh, hang on. Isn't that the Eastern Cranmore Building over there?
Oh my god. All right. So 6:30 has come. You're all sitting at the in the motel. 6:30 passes. It becomes like 6:50. And just when Hawk makes that noise, the phone rings.
There's a phone in this hotel. Holy
Yeah,
crap. This
It's
is
on the end table.
Oh,
Well,
well.
we've got a phone, but they can't afford a cleaner.
There's a cleaner.
Yeah, cleaner with
Bleach.
one arm.
It's called bleach.
Yeah,
Clean it with
not-
bleach, yeah.
not so good cleaner.
If the guy on the phone's name is Arthur, just put it straight back down.
All right. Who wants to pick up the phone?
I'll pick up the phone.
Yeah, I think
Sorry.
that's for the best.
Hawk.
Hawk, it's Finley. How you guys doing? Hold
Well,
up in
we're
the
kind
motel?
of grossed out and staying here. What's up? Where are you?
And he chuckles and he says, "Yeah, I mean, I only stayed there for a couple hours when I've got a girl, but all right. So I've talked it over with the client. They want to meet you. All right, you ready? You got a pen and paper? I'm going to give you an address.
Oh, jeez. Go ahead.
All right. The address is 63 71st Street, Glendale, New York. It's a Providence in Queens.
63. What did you say? 7th?
63 71st Street. It's in Queens.
All right.
Do you say that out loud, Hawk? You were saying like 63. Are you?
63 71st Street, Glendale, New York. In Queens.
Who has the ID?
The ID.
Arthur's ID.
Did we take the ID?
And someone was saying, mentioning Timothy. If you whoever saw it, it's the same address. Whoever
I
saw the
remember seeing that. Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
the
I think
same.
William found it, I believe.
William found it. Yeah, it's the same address. Timothy Tucker's address is the same address that Marcus just gave you.
So we're going. So Timothy and Arthur live together as adult brothers.
What was that? He says over the phone.
All right. When do you want us there? Right now?
Yeah, as soon as you can. We're here waiting for you at the moment.
Well, how long is it going to take to get there from here? Queens?
It's
An hour.
It's probably going to take about 30, 40 minutes, I assume.
Should have parked us in a hotel closer. All right.
Yeah,
We'll
well.
be there.
All right.
It's going to probably be an hour.
Yes.
Mother.
All right. He hangs up.
This just goes on and on and on. Let's go to Queens.
Can I make can I make an intelligence check because I live in New York? Is it like a residential area or a business?
With an address like that, it would be residential. Queens and Brooklyn right now are kind of like the hot spot for families at the moment. It's so right now people are just like flooding into those areas. So yeah, it's probably you could just safely assume it's a residence.
Okay.
You know, I think we made a really bad choice this afternoon with that movie because now I'm all freaked out. We should not have watched Dracula. That is a freaky movie.
That Bela Lugosi's something though, isn't it? Do you know, I met him backstage once. I asked him, I said, how do you do that? Can you teach me how to do that? Because I thought it'd be a really good move for my stage show. I said, can you teach me how to do that? And he said, you have to be Hungarian and double jointed.
Yeah, you're freaking me out with that voice. Don't do that again. Let's go.
The children of the night.
Oh, shit.
What a bloody racket they make.
You know, I woke up screaming last night with nightmares. Thank you very much.
So.
Oh my God, that was a scary movie.
So you guys close the door and you guys head into Queens?
Yeah.
All right.
Let's go.
All right. So, Fowler, I'm going to assume you're driving.
Yep.
It's your car.
It is my car. I am driving.
All right. So you guys drive the hour. It's now about 8
Just out
o'clock.
of interest, sorry, while we're driving,
Mm-hmm.
can I just look out the back window?
Yeah, I mean, there's cars everywhere.
No cars in particular look like they're sitting behind us for far too long or something.
No, nothing seems ominous or eerie, or no one's following you. It seems like,
I think the biggest problem in this day and age is that all cars look pretty much the same. I mean, there were differences, but you saw a lot of the same cars.
mainly black 2 or 4 door cars. So, but no one's sticking with you. I mean, you're looking out and you're being pretty adamant about it, I assume. So no one's following you. You can kind of rest easy on that.
What was the old thing about you can get the car in any color as long as it's black? That was somebody's sort of model. Was it Ford?
Yeah, that was the Model T.
All right. So Fowler pulls up in Queens to the address, which is a modest little townhome with blue paint and gorgeous white trim. Someone takes care of this house. There's a small concrete stairway that leads from the sidewalk up to the front door. And as Fowler stops, people who are on the passenger side can see that there is a very lush garden beside the porch with bleeding hearts. They're a forget-me-not. They're a flower that doesn't die in the winter. But they also look like a heart with like a bleeding blood. And you can see that like the flowers are growing and they're growing very well despite the patches of snow all over the ground. All right. And this is a very nice, respectable neighborhood. There's a grocer down the street. There's houses up in a row. This block looks very nice. And there's another car parked out front of the townhome, which is just another black car. It's a black Ford.
Well, gentlemen, let's hope there's not all of the people that we're here to talk to aren't all dead in the bathroom again.
Oh, God, don't. I barely recovered from the last one.
Okay.
I don't think I'll ever eat liver again.
Is someone taking a lead? What are you guys doing?
Fowler, why don't you take the lead?
Okay, I guess I will. So I will go up to the door and I will knock.
All right. And you knock and you see the big portly body of Marcus Finley come out from around a corner. He opens the door. He's wearing his white button-up shirt, big sweat stain right in the middle of his chest. His sleeves are rolled up, suspenders up, and they're like really tight on his chest. And he's got a pack of cigarettes in his hand, and he says, "Fowler, Hawk, come on in." But then he sees Tommy and William, And he goes, well, hold on. This isn't for kids.
You could
They're
just
not
let
kids.
them in. They're with us. I think they can handle their own.
And he steps to the side and kind of lets you guys in. So you all step inside. Marcus is holding the door. Immediately, you're all struck by the immaculate interior design of the home. Everything is set perfectly in its place, and it almost has a motherly touch to it all. The wooden door flows throughout. The wooden floor flows throughout the home. Polished, incredible paintings hang on the walls, framed in swirling wooden frames. There's imperial trellis wallpaper that's been very recently set onto the walls. It's regal blue. It gives the home a lavish royal feel. Someone has put time and love into this home, and that person is sitting in the living room to your left. A pregnant, red-haired woman is sitting on a modern sofa, and when you all enter, she kind of turns and smiles at you all warily. You can see bags under her eyes and suggesting late nights. Her pale face and sorrowful look implying that something terrible has happened, or she heard about Arthur. And she kind of smiles and says, "Good evening."
Ma'am, we take off our hats.
And so she's sitting there, and Marcus walks into the living room. He points at her and says, "Gentlemen, this here is Samantha Tucker. Samantha, these are the gentlemen who found," and she kind of looks down at the floor. He says, "They're the ones who found Arthur." Gentlemen, Samantha, and of course, there's another person here. I kept saying they and the girls and all of them, and that woman is. And you then hear a woman say, "Bethany Tucker," from up a set of stairs in the foyer, and when you look up, she's wearing a button-up shirt. She's wearing kind of like a pleated skirt. Very, very formal. I mean, it's very professional, not formal so much, but very professional. And she walks down. Her hair is pulled back into a bun, and she reaches out for each of your hands.
An older woman?
No, around 40. And she says, "Bethany Tucker."
Nice to meet you.
I shake her hand, and I just look her in the eye, and I'm like, "I'm sorry for the loss."
Wow.
How do you do?
She then says, "We're managing. If you could please sit down. We have a lot to discuss." And you can see Marcus, he kind of like pulls out a cigarette, and Bethany kind of like turns and glares at him, and he just lowers the cigarette and puts it in his pocket.
Miss Tucker, you are Arthur's sister?
I am Arthur's sister. And she and she sits down, and she says, "And Samantha here is Timothy's wife."
Oh.
And she then says, "Yes, my full name is Samantha Giles Tucker. We hyphenated it."
And Mr. Tucker?
And Bethany says, "Well, that's why you're here. Could I get you all some tea before we start?"
Yes, tea would be gratefully appreciated.
All right. Can I have Thompson do a medical roll?
She's pregnant.
Oh man, my medicine is pretty low. Nope. 34 out of 1.
Okay. Despite that, it's very obvious that she is in her 3rd trimester. She is very pregnant.
She's great with child.
Yeah, she is great with child. And when Bethany stands up to move towards the tea set in the back of the room, Samantha herself even tries to get up. and Bethany immediately goes over and says, "No, just you sit, relax," and then immediately goes back over to the tea set. I would like William to give me a spot hidden. Is it a no?
You're muted.
Yeah, fail.
All right. Well, with that, Bethany walks into the corner of the room, begins pouring some tea. It was just, she had prepared it. She was waiting for you all. And she says, a little over 2 weeks ago, on March 18th to be exact, my brother Timothy Tucker disappeared. And she sets down the teapot. Samantha, and she points over to Samantha, who then kind of smiles again, remember seeing him leave for work the morning of March 18th. Samantha then looks at you all and she says, he woke me up with a kiss as I laid in bed resting, and he told me to go back to sleep. So I did, and I thought everything was normal. And then Bethany goes, but he never came back.
What does your husband do for a living?
Samantha then says, he's an architect with City Hall. Bethany then starts, Samantha first called me and my other brother, Arthur. She was panicked. Me and Arthur immediately came down here. I took the train from Boston. Arthur took the train from Georgia. And then the three of us went to the police to report Timothy missing. But after a few days of searching, the police just gave up. Samantha then says, they said at this point, if he comes back, he comes back. And Bethany kind of scoffs at that. When the police gave up the search, we turned to a private investigative agency. And Marcus then kind of holds his hand up and says, Finley and Moore. Well, just Finley now. I've been driving around New York for the better part of 2 weeks on Bethany and Samantha's dime, looking for Timothy, but there isn't any. There's no paper trail. No one's seen him in the city. He hasn't tried to contact anyone. It's like looking for a needle in a haystack, or a needle in a pile of needles that's over 3 million people.
Is there any reason to believe that did he have any enemies?
Not that I know of. And Samantha then says, no, Timothy was well liked by all of his colleagues and everyone in the neighborhood.
Did he like gambling?
Bethany then kind of laughs at that. Like, she then says, of course not. Timothy was a very well-rounded man, but now it's only gotten worse, you see, because Arthur began to tell us that he'd been having dreams about Timothy. Arthur explained that the dreams were always the same. It was Timothy in the darkness. He was wearing his suit, and he was sobbing and muttering himself about time, or the time. He's been having them, or he was having them, and she says that with kind of like, just like this pit in her stomach, for about a week and a half, around the same time and she looks over at Marcus, noticed the men. Marcus then kind of crosses
The men?
and says, some guys seem to be pretty keen on keeping tabs on the house, following Bethany and Samantha and even Arthur when he was alive.
Did any of them approach you while you were here?
No, but he kind of laughs. And he
Would
says,
these two men, would they be two nondescript looking fellas dressed in black?
Well, honestly, we don't really know much about him. We've only seen them a few times, but we don't know if there's 1 or 2, 3, 4, 5. In fact, the whole reason why I pulled the gun on you guys in the first place is because I thought you were them. We're certain that they're following the family, and we also had no idea that Arthur had already called you. Bethany says that Arthur began to think the dreams meant something and wanted help with people who had experience dealing with this.
Tell me, what was your brother Timothy working on at the time of his disappearance?
I have no idea. And Samantha then says, he's been working on a lot of things. He works on basically any municipal building in the city or any of the boroughs, really. And he has to approve the schematics for any sort of, zoning issue or anything like that. So he works on quite a bit.
Do you know if he recently had a big contract with the city?
Maybe. Me and Timothy really don't talk about his work. He really doesn't like it very much, and Bethany sets the tea down on the coffee table in front of you all and says he wanted to be an artist. He hates his work with the architecture firm.
What does Arthur do for a living?
Samantha then says Arthur was the owner of a vacuum salesmanship. He employed men to go door to door and sell vacuums, pretty much.
Oh.
Bethany then says Arthur first got the idea of contacting you all when he was listening to Mr. Fowler, and she points to him, his radio program. Arthur did apparently more digging, according to what Marcus saw in the hotel. He did more digging, and he got in contact with, and she looks over at Marcus and he says, from what I can tell from looking through all the papers on the ground, is that he mainly got in contact with some lady named Amelia Court and some guy named Daniel Radley.
Yes, we're familiar with them.
Yeah, we are.
Am I to understand that you all live here together? The two, the two gentlemen and sister and wife?
Bethany then says, oh, no. Like I said, I live in Boston.
I'm sorry, you did say that. That's correct.
Arthur lived in Savannah, Georgia, I believe. Me and him hadn't really been keeping.
So this is Timothy's house.
Samantha then says, Timothy in my house, yes.
So are we to take it that Arthur came up from Savannah?
Yes.
Because of this business with Timothy?
I called Arthur and Bethany just so that they could help. I didn't know what to do. He was gone, and no one was looking for him.
Do you know if he received any sort of correspondence or... When
Would
was
you
it?
mind? I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just saying, would you mind if I had a look at Timothy's room?
Bethany then says, you can have a look through the entire house as far as I'm concerned, but let's finish this now and get the questions out of the way. Okay. Because I not only want to hire you for finding my brother, but also because this matter with Arthur, clearly he, and Marcus then kind of holds up his hands and just goes, not this again, Bethany. He was not murdered. He committed suicide. He did it to himself. He was losing his mind. And Bethany at that, you can see almost like a switch flip. Like, she's very professional and talking with you. Samantha is obviously very distraught and very sad, but Bethany is trying to keep it together. And when Marcus says that, she snaps and says, you don't know that. He wouldn't kill himself. We literally just talked to him 2 days ago. And Marcus says, You didn't see what I saw. He did it to himself. There's no conspiracy there.
Let's keep an open mind, but we'll do our best to find out the truth of these events.
And Bethany, she kind of relaxes back into her seat and takes in a breath and lets it out and says, I am offering to pay you $25 a day and a lump sum of about $200 at the end of this to find my brother and my other brother's murder. Just so you know, for reference to listeners and to you guys, $25 is about $350 a day.
Who's being offered this money? Just Hawk and Fowler, or
all of you?
All of us.
We'll split it.
A substantial.
Yeah.
No, it's to you each.
Oh.
She then stands up and says, well, with that, we're done. If you're on the case, do whatever you need to. And you then see Marcus then pull out his cigarette again, and Bethany begins leaving the room. She's done with the conversation. She doesn't need to talk to you. You've been hired. And he pulls out the cigarette, and Bethany grabs the cigarette, breaks it, and says, not in the house, Finley. On the porch.
Addressing myself to Bethany just before she leaves.
Okay.
Miss Court, could you perhaps show me to your brother's study?
Bethany then steps into the living room, and she points to a door that a set of double doors in the living room. She says, his study's right in there, I believe. Samantha nods and says, that's where he works or goes to smoke.
All right.
Bethany then says, she asks Samantha if she needs help getting up. And when Samantha says yes, because she'd like to cook dinner for all of you if you're going to stay. They help each other up. They're going to go about their business in the house. Bethany's going to go upstairs after helping Samantha up. Samantha's going to go into the kitchen. And Finley's going to go outside. But before he steps outside, he points at Hawk, and he just goes...
All right.
All right.
I'm going to pull on my kid gloves and open the door to his study.
All right.
And I will follow you there, Felix.
All right. So we should break there. I'd love to keep going. I'd love for this to go on infinitely.
Yes.
But we'll end there with that note. You've been hired on.
It's a good spot.
It is.
All right. Our players included Mick Swan, Jeff Wilkins, Corey Highstead, Ken Trench, Wayne Worthy, and myself, with Thomas McKeon as the keeper of the secrets. We're currently producing 4 shows a week with music and sound effects added in post-production in order to create a richer listener experience. We provide audio-only versions of our show free for you to download from Podbean or iTunes. If you'd like to become a patron of the show, visit our Patreon account. Just $1 or $2 a month helps us a lot. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and punch that bell icon for updates on our latest shows, and leave us some comments. We love reading them. This is Tom Rayleigh, together with all the members of our gaming club, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure into the universe of H.P. Lovecraft and the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. Until next time, good luck and good gaming.